Hey John, it's Brian. I'm going to try and explain what's going on. Okay, that's the inside seal that keeps of course, the oil coming out of the rear end away from the bearings. The stock bearing, which is what this is a setup bearing. As you can see, I wrote setup on it. What I do is I take and grind the inside out so it fits over the axle, the outside so it slips in. The original one, this is one set up for the Toyota Celica or whatever, they came mostly out of a Celica. And I put the setup bearing, and this is what I used when I set the other side up, and then the other one when we set this side up, and before I found out that it was bent. This bearing, inside diameter is 35 millimeter, outside 72, and the width, which is a brand new one that I was going to use, is 17 millimeters wide. Okay, it's 17 millimeters wide. The only bearing that I can find, of course I just tore that, not good, 6306, which is a 30 millimeter inside diameter, which is what this is right there, 30 millimeter inside diameter. It is 72 wide, or I'm sorry, outside diameter, which is what this is right here, 72 outside. But it's 19 millimeter wide instead of the 17, which is going to move everything out this way. All right, so what I wanted to do when I did that is I want to find out exactly how much depth we have for the splines, which isn't very hard. All I got to do is set this up here, set it in. Whoop, it just started to go in. Right there is where it goes into the spline. I don't know if you can notice, kind of hard to tell with this picture, but there is a black, there we go. There's a black line where I used the magic marker so we could tell what the spline depth was. Came in at about 650. That's 650, 649, close enough. Came down here from the end, which I would think before the spline came in is right about there. So we've got 0.650 inches of thread, I'm sorry, I keep saying thread, of depth for the spline. Okay? Which I thought you said 3/4 was the minimum that I could use, the minimum, can't even say minimum tonight, that I can use. So here's how the stock one works. The bearing sits in here like this. Then we have this shim, which gives me about, I'd say, 10 thousandths here, that the backing plate, boom, goes like that. So it sandwiches between there. So all the load for this bearing for the axle is on this bearing, and it's not inside the case like it was on the left side. On the left side, the actual spline was pushing into the inside of the carrier and wore the stupid carrier out. So I set the thrust area, what I want to call thrust bearing or whatever, that way. The problem that I've got, which I think I could possibly solve the depth issue, is we could take and shave this off 2 more millimeter. But the question is 0.60 or 650 enough depth for the splines to keep from tearing the end of the spline off? And the other problem we've got is if we move this in, which I don't know yet because the other axle that I've got, I don't know what the distance is from here to the facing here, so I don't know what that is until tomorrow. What do we have room to play with? Because the top hat, the top hat sits on this. The other issue, and the reason why I need it as quick as possible, if this is going to work, is, and I'm going to go to the left side here. All right, the left side, and I got the nuts on. If you notice, right there's a huge gap. All right, how it's centered is here. These have a step on the back side that locate the center of the top hat. With the current one, unfortunately, there's no step, so the rotor is not going to be centered with the axle. So I have to have a shim made, which he's going to do for me, that's going to slip over this collar right here that'll have the inside diameter of this outside diameter, and then it's going to step it up to the inside diameter of the wheel. That way it'll center it, and I don't have to use the lugs, or the, not the lugs, but the studs to center it. Hope that helps. Bye.